Hi, Cancer. Welcome to your bonus reading for the person that you're dealing with. So the Queen of Swords just came out. So the Queen of Swords is about truth. So we'll put that back in, but we'll see if it comes back out. So for many of you, this will be a love reading, but it doesn't have to be because we all deal with all different kinds of people for all different kinds of reasons. So let's just see what comes out. So there's the King of Swords, Strength, and the Knight of Pentacles. So there is a commitment and a loyalty that exists between the two of you. I can see that with the Knight of Pentacles. It feels like there's steady progress in this particular relationship. There may have been accomplishments already made in this relationship. And we'll see. This could be a work situation with the Pentacles, but it certainly does not have to be. Again, like I said, most of you, this will be a love reading. So just make it make sense for you and your situation. You're showing up as the King of Swords, but we did have that Queen of Swords come out earlier. So we're considering all of that. But it feels like you are a strong communicator and that you're able to stand up for the things you believe in, because the King of Swords does that. In spite of any kind of judgment or disapproval that the King of Swords may get for expressing themselves, they express themselves anyway. And that's a really message that's really coming through pretty strongly. Your person over here is showing up as strength. And this is about vitality. This is about overcoming fear. This is about endurance. This is about seeing things clearly from high level perspective. So it feels like you guys both have a lot of integrity is what this is telling me so far. And a lot of commitment. So let me clarify this Knight of Pentacles that's between you two. So that's clarified by the Nine of Swords. So in spite, perhaps, of the stressors that are in this relationship, again, I was inclined to say that you are speaking up for yourself when it comes to something. In spite of how this person may take it, you are going to always continue to speak up for yourself no matter what the relationship is. And so I do think that that's what your person is having to overcome, the fact that you do speak your mind. And this person has to come to terms with that. But I think that is causing some stressors among the two of you. But yet with this Knight of Pentacles, there's still a strong loyalty and a commitment. In spite of the stressors that are going on, you two still want to stick this through. So there's a Three of Swords, Nine of Cups, and Seven of Cups. You both may have had different ideas coming into this relationship of what that relationship was going to look like. That in the beginning of the relationship with the Seven of Cups, there may not have been a lot of clarity about where this was going, or maybe someone, and it feels like it might be your person, didn't honor the promises that they made when they first came into this relationship. Perhaps they were giving some illusions about what this would look like. This is almost giving a future faking kind of energy, because I'm seeing the Nine of Cups on their side, which is a very self-serving type of energy. And I'm seeing the Three of Swords on your side, which means you got hurt somehow in this process. That the way you envisioned the relationship was different. When you came in, your person was looking more for their own interest, was looking out for number one, and you were thinking this was going to be a joint effort. And I think that's why your heart is broken, and therefore you had to stand up for yourself. Perhaps you even drew some boundaries with this person because they were a future faker or this type of energy. But there is still a loyalty that's existing between the two of you, because we led with the Knight of Pentacles. And your person is still here. Your person has this willpower to stay, but we'll see if it's still self-serving or not. So their strength is clarified by the High Priestess. They're seeing things from a higher perspective, from a higher level now. I originally said that it looks like the two of you both have integrity, where it looks like perhaps in the past your person didn't have that same level of integrity that they do now, that they're really starting to understand this in a deeper way, that they had to overcome some fears, that they have to give themselves over to you fully in order to keep those promises that they originally made to you, that they can't keep those promises, or they can't make those promises and then only deliver half of it if they want you, King of Swords, to take them seriously. So why the Strength and the High Priestess? Four of Swords, Four of Pentacles, Five of Cups. Well, I do believe this person has gone through some emotional healing. I think that they have surrendered a bit, where maybe before they wanted more control because they were self-serving. It feels like they are surrendering a bit. I think they understand that holding back and only giving half was the problem. I can't see yet that they're taking any actions towards you that have changed. We're going to keep going, but they certainly know, especially with this High Priestess, they know that they have wounds to heal and that they need to bring you more. They know they can't bring you half of what they promised and expect you to take them seriously. This Five of Cups also kind of tells me that because there's so much regret here, that they have a lot of feelings for you, because we don't see the Five of Cups unless there are feelings. You wouldn't feel disappointed. You wouldn't feel guilt. You wouldn't feel the grief of the Five of Cups if you didn't have feelings involved. So I do think that this person is interested in you. They want to be with you, but there are some wounds here. There is some healing and surrender that needs to be done. And they know that in their past, they have held back from other people too. And so I think it's starting to dawn on them that they do this in relationships, that they hold themselves back. But then they wondered why they couldn't keep a relationship. But with this Strength and the High Priestess coming through here, it tells me that they're starting to catch on to that they are the problem. It's their own healing and their own lack of effort, or at least lack of bringing everything they promise to the table, that is the problem. So, but your King of Swords is also, wow, you also have the Five of Cups. This is your disappointment. This is why you had to draw boundaries. You didn't want to draw boundaries around this relationship, but you found yourself in a place where you had to, because of whatever this person did to break your heart with the Three of Swords. You had to create a strong boundary around it, but you weren't expecting to have to do that. You came into this thinking this was going to be a mutual thing. It ended up not being that. You ended up having to protect yourself, and now you're saying, how did I even get here? I'm so blindsided by this and so disappointed by what happened. It's like you didn't see it coming. So there's a Page of Cups, Judgment, and Wheel of Fortune. So this energy of the wheel is grabbing my attention, first of all, to say that no one can control the wheel. The wheel turns when the wheel is good and ready to turn. And so it feels like the time is not right for this relationship, especially with Judgment and the Three of Swords on your side. Judgment is asking you to make a high-level decision, or to see this from a high-level perspective, that this person is not ready. We're seeing a Four of Swords and a Five of Cups and a Four of Pentacles. This is a person who has way too much healing to do to be able to show up in a way that is not going to produce a Three of Swords for you. So what this is saying with the Page of Cups on the external is to say you were right to set those boundaries, and it's time to probably release with the Judgment card. Wake up to this situation, forgive and forget, move on with your life, is what the Page of Cups is telling me. So, but let's go back to the center energy. The Seven of Cups is clarified by the moon. Oh, geez. So when the Seven of Cups and the moon coming together, this is about all those illusions I was talking about. Your person's shadow side, or need to control, or fears, or maybe all of the above, caused them to create so many illusions around you For some of you, you may have been in this relationship for a long time, and you might be scratching your head like, why am I still here? How did all these years go by? It's because they kept creating more illusions. It's what future fakers do. So why the Seven of Cups and the Moon? So there's Justice, Ten of Swords, and the World. Wow. Okay, so these are really huge energies. So the World card is certainly a spiritual awakening. I think that both of you have learned so much from this, and I believe that was the point. That was the point of getting your heart broken. Your justice came in, though, in the form of you seeing this. Judgment and the World are saying, look, you learned your lesson. You're free to move on. You're free to move to the next level. You're free to forgive and forget and flap those wings and fly, is what the World and Judgment are saying. And Justice is saying, we'll deal with this person and their shenanigans, but you no longer have to deal with them because you untied your karmic spaghetti when it comes to this lesson and or person, and now you're free to move on. This wheel is not going to turn. The only thing this wheel is going to do is to turn for you to see that this is not your person, is what this is really strongly giving me. The Ten of Swords being on their side, this is going to be a painful ending for them. This is going to be a more painful lesson for them than it was for you. You have 3 swords in your back. They have 10 swords in your back that was put there by the universe because it's coming in with Justice and the World. So the universe is saying, we will deal with this. You go on. You've learned the lesson. This is no longer your concern. Go enjoy your life with an open heart with the Page of Cups. You stood up for yourself, and I think that was the lesson that really needed to be learned here, but you did. You showed up as that King of Swords, and the Queen of Swords flipped out. So you have learned that lesson, no doubt. So the Five of Cups is clarified by the Nine of Wands. So this person does not want to give you up, and this is why it's going to be so painful for them. They wanted control of the situation. They lost control of the situation. Their intuition was telling them what to do, but even though their intuition was telling them what to do, they continued to only come in halfway. They ignored their intuition, and that is why the universe is saying, you can pretend to fight as much as you want. Fight all you want, but you're never going to win because you can't win against the universe. So why the Five of Cups and the Nine of Wands? Nine of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, and King of Cups. This King of Cups is saying that this person has a very strong emotional center. This person has a very strong emotional potential, but they are ignoring it, they're neglecting it, and what this is saying is you were right to think that this person could have been your person because they have just such a beautiful soul. But it doesn't matter if they don't bring that to you on the 3D. It matters not at all. So the Nine of Pentacles is pointing towards this relationship because the universe is saying that until they learn to access their strong emotional center as the King of Cups, they cannot have access to you. They're getting a Nine of Pentacles and a Hanged Man, which means until they renew or grow or rise from the ashes, they are in a total timeout from you. Nine of Pentacles, no access, independence. Hanged Man, no access, timeout. So it's really putting your person here's feet to the fire, saying you can fight and come in half-baked all you want, but until you come in fully with an open heart, you cannot have Cancer. You cannot have my Cancer person. You just can't. I'm protecting them. They had an awakening. They learned. They stood up for themselves. They're not putting up with this anymore. So the wheel on your side is clarified by the Three of Wands. This is telling you, don't wait. Do not wait because the time is not right. If this person does their healing, you will know about it because the universe will put them back in your path. But the universe is basically saying this is no longer your concern. This is no longer your business. Go do something else. The wheel, the judgment, the justice, the world. The universe is handling this for you. If this person never heals, you're better off leaving now, right? And if this person does heal, you will be able to have an opportunity with them again which at that point will be your choice because you may have already moved on to something else by then. So allow this energy that's working for you to work for you. So why the Wheel of Fortune and the Three of Wands? Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, Lovers. So you are meant to be, with this Lovers card, in a very divinely orchestrated love. You're meant to have a high level lover, is what this is really telling me. And the universe wants to activate that for you. And this is saying, with the Queen of Pentacles on the external energy, this is saying that there is a person somewhere else who is going to be offered to you, someone else who's about to come into your path, because you just leveled up with the world, which means you're leveling up to new people who are on the same level as you, the same vibe as you, the same frequency as you. So there is someone there waiting for you. And this Queen of Swords came back out in a different deck, but she came back out saying, you need to set that boundary. You need to continue to stand up for yourself when it comes to this, because this divine love that wants to be activated elsewhere is waiting for you. So keep your boundary up. You started with a King of Swords. That's great. That's why the world is here. You learned. So don't unlearn that. Continue to set boundaries with this and go find this Queen of Pentacles energy. Gender does not matter whatsoever. But find this nurturing person, this person who wants to receive you on the level that you are because you've done the work, and probably so did this person. So let's get you some final advice. Wow, there's that Wheel of Fortune again, saying you learned your lesson. Don't wait around for this. This wheel is never going to turn, is what this is telling me. So let me get you 3 final cards of advice in this situation. 6 of Swords, the Hierophant, and the King of Wands. Wow. Underneath is the 6 of Cups. This is about harmonizing in your heart. This is about knowing where the balance in your heart is. And someone who's going to come in halfway and break your heart is not a balance of the heart. This I love to see, because the 6 of Swords is the card of escape. The Hierophant is the card of spiritual lessons. And the King of Wands is someone who knows what they want and charges after it. It's the most confident card I could draw in the deck, saying that you have gained a lot of confidence from this because you've stood up for yourself, because you've learned boundaries. You've learned exactly, with the Hierophant and the world, exactly what the universe wanted you to learn. You learned it. You passed that test with an A+. So this is saying it's time for you to escape this. The universe is handling this person in the best way that they can, in the fairest and most just way that they can. This person is being handled. You are being rewarded with a high level love, a divine love, an activation of divine love with a person who wants to love and care for you. So keep those boundaries up, because your real person is on the way. So there you go, Cancer. That is your reading for the person you're dealing with. Please let me know how this was resonant for you. Consider subscribing to the channel if you like my vibe, and we will do this again sometime. Thanks, everybody. Bye.